I just wanted to know. I just want to know who in Qantas is in charge of negotiations between Qantas and the Prime Minister Albanese's office to agree to assist with the Labor government's Yes campaign for the referendum. Mr Finch, can you help me with that?
There were no negotiations per se. The government...
Per se? What conversations were had between Qantas, your GovRel's people and the Prime Minister's office around support for the Yes campaign?
I mean, maybe there's one thing that I can say on this is that Qantas as an organisation has supported Indigenous reconciliation.
We all support Indigenous reconciliation, Ms Hudson. I've got limited time and I hope you'll respect. Filibustering might have been the strategy of the former CEO. Don't appreciate it from the current one. Let's do the 180 on that as well. Mr Finch, who in Qantas was talking with the Prime Minister's office around support for the Yes campaign?
I don't know the answer to that, but my expectation is it would have been someone in our Government Affairs Department who was approached by the Yes campaign seeking their support. Given our public stance on reconciliation.
You're an obvious partner.
The offer
Thank you.
was made.
So when was the date secured for the Prime Minister to attend the August 14 launch of the Qantas livery around the Yes campaign? When did you get that date out of the PMO?
I'll have to take that on notice, Chair.
Really? Takes time to paint a 737, an Airbus and a Dash 8 turboprop and find time in the Prime Minister's diary. How long does it take to paint a plane?
It's not paint, it's a decal, and it takes roughly 24 hours,
24 hours?
To put on the aircraft.
Okay. So what date did Qantas agree to participate in the Yes campaign for the Prime Minister's Voice referendum?
I will have to take that on notice, Chair.
This is quite incredible. This is the whole quid pro quo and no one came prepared to answer questions. Oh, what a surprise. So who made that decision? Was that the board or the former CEO? Mr Goyder?
The board endorsed a recommendation from management, Chair.
Okay, for the decal, what? Is there a nicer way to say decals?
To support the Yes campaign.
To support the Yes campaign. So when was that decision made to support the Yes campaign?
Can you remember, Andrew?
Maybe Mr Finch can look it up on the minutes that will be on that laptop. And Mr Goyder, that's Qantas's decision to support the Yes campaign. And then when was the decision made that that part of that support would include a launch with the Prime Minister, decals on a range of aircraft and the decision to fly Yes campaigners for free? When was that decision made?
No, I don't know that.
You don't know the decision?
No.
Do you know when that decision was made?
I don't. We can take that on notice.
When that decision, Ms Hudson, was made?
No, I agree. I think we will need to take that on notice, Chair.
Do you have the board minutes on your...
I don't, no.
No? Does anyone behind you have
Sorry, Chair,
those?
your suggestion of a quid pro quo, could you elaborate, please?
Oh, I've been quite public about that. I'm sure you've read all the media releases and all the media commentary, Mr Finch. Guess what? When you come to a Senate inquiry, we ask the questions and you're supposed to come with the answers. A bit like failing to hand in a submission, not having details about when you had made significant decisions in partnership with the government just shows the level of disrespect. How long did it take to arrange for the planes and when was the procurement for that work done?
As I said, the time it takes to put the decal on the plane is literally overnight, and I can get you information of how long it takes to pull
So on
the
notice,
decal.
I would like, who was the company that you used to procure that? What the date was when that contract was undertaken? And Mr Goyder, would this be typically a decision made by the board to have the Prime Minister at the launch of something as significant as the Yes campaign for Qantas, given your public stance as a company and how important this is to you?
No, it was not a decision made by the board.
It wasn't a decision made by the board? It was a decision made by management?
Yes.
Under the former CEO?
Yep.
And was reported to board? that this is what we're going to do, the PM's going to be there?
No, the Chair, the support of the Yes campaign was endorsed by the board previous to that.
Yes, obviously. My question goes to when was this actual specific arrangement set up?
I'm unaware.
You're not
of
aware, so if you are aware of what goes on in your board meetings, which I'm sure you are, Mr Goyder, you're very experienced, this didn't come to the board, did it?
No.
No. So this was a decision made by the GovRels people in Mr Finch's section. Yes, Mr Finch?
Another Andrew McGuinness's section, Government Affairs.
Andrew McGuinness. So was this a decision made in Andrew McGuinness's section?
Which decision, sorry? To decal?
The one we're talking about, Mr Finch.
No, that was a decision by the former CEO in consultation with the GMC.
Okay.
The Group Management Committee.
And then it would go through a normal procurement process internally?
Correct.
Right. And so who would be setting up the meeting with the Prime Minister's office?
Again, we'd have to take that on notice. My expectation is that Mr Joyce's executive assistant would have reached out to the Prime Minister's office to invite him.
And is she still in the employ of Qantas? Well, I'm assuming a she, isn't that terrible? Are they?
It is a she.
It is a she, and she's retiring as well.
She's retiring.
If we could ask her before she retires, that would be very, very helpful.